All right, man.
Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I am Night Strike. Shut up, you friend! Where did that come from? I got a couple people here on my panel this evening. Hopefully more will jump in, but if not, apparently Rick isn't going to make it, so no. Poor Rick. So let me introduce those that have showed up, and if anybody else shows up, we'll introduce them as they jump in. So first up, we've got Mr. 1% himself, Rich White. What's going on, Rich?
Yeah, not much. Just got done. Was watching Ghost for a little bit while waiting for you to send the link, and that's about it. Watching a little wrestling on the side.
All right. Oh shit, we got to post this on the Gun Channel side, otherwise G-Ups is So
hurry up before he finds out.
Hurry up before he finds out.
And look at the sideways squib load.
It's a sideways squib. You got to watch out for those squib loads.
Yep.
Yeah. They won't mess you up.
Yep.
All
right. So, Squib, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Squib.
All right.
That works.
Love to hear that. All right.
Short and sweet.
All right, and last but not least, we have my unofficial co-host now. We have Travis P. Love.
Man, I appreciate the promotion. We'll be discussing my salary here after the show. No, I'm just messing with you.
Right,
guys.
We got to get our sponsor to pay for
this is pro bono work that I do here. This is just trickle down to help out, everybody, No, but anyway, thanks for the invite, man. I appreciate it. Quick heads up, guys. If you're fans of Sandhill Shooters channel, he was going to be hosting a 2A Tuesday episode. He's going to be moving that back a couple weeks, and so he just put a video up on his channel explaining the change in the time slot, just to let you know about that. So there won't be a 2A Tuesday after this show, but otherwise, he was going to do a deer chat, a deer talk, deer hunting chat this evening. We are going to do a deer hunting talk on Caliber Corner this Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you check it out on gunchannels.com. Hopefully Sandhills can be there. And, we talked about this last week, too. It's something we want to do because as soon as pumpkin spice everything shows up in a store, it's an indicator to me that I need to dust off the deer rifle and get out to the range because we've got only a few months to get ready. So anyway, just check out the channel, Travis P11, and then Caliber Corner, 8 a.m. Central Time, Saturday mornings on gunchannels.com. And you can see episodes over on guntube.org.
This is true. So
yeah,
I do want to talk about a little bit about guntube.org because I've done a little more changes. I've got some more sponsors, not sponsors per se, but some more affiliate links on GunTube now. If you go and check it out. Got some at the top, got some at the bottom, just because, well, that's how I can do it. I've got one for Advantlink. I've got one for Brownells, Natchez, and Palmetto State Armory. At the bottom, I've got some for shootsteel.com as well as, what was this one? True Shot Gun Club as well. These are online retailers. So if anybody goes and clicks on any of the links on GunTube and buys something from those respective stores, GunTube gets a small, percentage of whatever that company makes. So if you can, please go ahead and click on those ads on GunTube. It helps us be able to run GunTube. All right. With that, what are we talking about tonight? Well, I don't know. Travis, I think what we're going to talk about tonight, first up, is
lack of common sense in Americans these days.
No, we're not going to talk about him first.
Okay.
Magnum PI apparently quitting the NRA board of directors.
No, I think what we're going to talk about is everybody knows that the 1911s were sent to the CMP, right?
Yes.
Most everyone knows that. Well, they finally started accepting applications to order 1911s from the CMP. So basically, there's this form I will link in the YouTube side, and I will link on the gun channel side. Got to get into the hit or miss page again. All right, there's that. Go. The YouTube side. I don't have the YouTube side open. What happened, Travis?
What are you talking about? I'm watching the episode right now. What are you talking? What do you mean?
Apparently I don't have the link. I don't know what's going on with that. All right, let me get into it because Jesus, what the hell?
No, it looks fine. I'm watching it on the YouTube side right now. Watching the chat.
All right.
Yeah, I got the YouTube chat open.
Yeah.
There's a little thing. We get the 3 dots at the top. Click it, pop out chat. Works well.
There we go. There's the link for it. So basically, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go and get that order form packet. It's pretty much just the PDF. You're supposed to fill it out best you can. You're not supposed to put your your payment information on it yet because they're going to basically pick the applications out of the hat. So basically, you just download that packet, print it out, sign it, and send it back to them. You can apparently they have a customer service email address which is cmp1911@thecmp.org. That is the email address you can send it to. Only one order form per packet per customer may be submitted. So you can only submit one. You can only get one. Okay. Must not be postmarked prior to September 4th, 2018, and not after October 4th, 2018. So you got a window. You got to get them in before October 4th.
But don't worry, they'll show up on classicfarms.com for double the price.
Okay, apparently hand-delivered, emailed, and fax
they won't sell any of them.
Oh, they'll sell out. They'll sell out everything advertised.
I did give some misinformation. Okay, hand-delivered, emailed, and fax orders will not be accepted. So that means you have to send it in. I didn't read it all the way. I apologize for that. So you're supposed to send it to CMP 1911, 1800 Roberts Drive, Anniston, Alabama 36207. You're supposed to mail them in by snail mail. Okay. So
what was the price on those? Because people are saying in the chat that they just seem a little overpriced for what you're actually getting.
Weren't these supposed to be the $800, $900 1911s that are so beat up that why wouldn't you just go out and buy a decent $700 one that's brand new? Question mark.
Yes, but here's the thing: these 1911s are a grab bag, so they might have been in Vietnam. They might have been in not Desert Storm, but they might have been in Vietnam. They might have been in Korea. They might have even been in World War II. I don't know if they're World War I 1911s, but they might be. So it's a grab bag of depending on what you get. So you might get an A1, you might get a 1911. So
and at that price, I'm going to take a pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. Because I'm going to tell you what, these things are going to be beat to crap.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
I remember the 1911s we had back in 1993. On the air station, our MPs carried 1911s. Over on the infantry side, on the other side of the river, they had M9s. They got stuff before we did. And our 1911s were beat to crap back then.
Yeah.
So they functioned. They worked, but yeah.
Yeah, when I was in junior ROTC, we went Fort Devens up in Massachusetts for summer camp every year. And on the range, we were using the old beat the hell 1911. So I wouldn't want to buy one of those.
Squib, look at it this way. It's more so for the civilians that weren't in the military, that won a 1911. But, for whatever reason they want to get it from the CMP, okay?
Hey, man, your money. Do what you want.
Right.
Now, the Trauma Jock is saying the Rock Island is making new ones on the same tooling.
Yeah, Night Strike knows he wants to send him to the hospital.
Yes. Okay, the only thing I will say in Night Strike's defense is there are people that are paying $400 and $500 for a Mosin Nagant now. And you're not getting anything. I mean, you're getting that lineage. You're getting that potential to get something that could have been used at the Battle of Stalingrad. But then again, in terms of the firearm aspect, what you can do with it and what it is, They're way
Yeah,
more
but
efficient
there's
for
a-
bolt
there's a-
action rifles, you know.
Yeah, but there's a difference there too. Nobody's making new Mosins either. What we're getting coming into the country is finite. People are still out there making 1911s.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
But again, you know, if you want one, they're available now. So, you know, if you don't want one, that's fine. Guess what? You don't have to buy one. But if you do, they're out there and available.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there isn't a company that hasn't come out and started remaking Mosins. You'd think it'd be easy to do. You might say, why? Well, somebody might want a new one that's safe to shoot, that's got good rifling in it, that wants that experience of firing that round, but doesn't want to have to buy something they're going to have to gut the Cosmoline out of or refurbish. Or
Mosin will make a nice deer rifle. I mean,
they're awesome.
Any old gun that has had the patent run out on it, where you're not paying any sort of cost to anybody, any sort of royalties or anything, can be replicated. And all these companies that go out there and go, we just don't know, we don't understand the metallurgy, we can't get the parts, it's too expensive to get an original one and copy it.
Mosin? Yeah, sorry.
To reverse engineer something is so much easier than to design it from paying no R&D. All the R&D was proven decades ago.
The Chinese do it all the time. It can't be that hard to do.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the thing is, over here, we would build it with better quality control. We'd have better steel and everything else. I mean, you're going to pay a top dollar. And they could say, the biggest it costs, seriously, of reproducing a Mosin or anything in America would be the labor. Honestly, it would be the labor. You're going to pay top dollar for American labor.
Yeah, more or less.
I mean, honestly, since I already have one, I mean, I would buy a new production one so I don't have to put wear and tear on my old one, or risk doing damage to my old one, which runs fine, but my original Mosin. But it would be nice to have a new production one. That would be, look nice, it'd be fun to shoot and take out and play with.
Does that mean we can call you Travis P. Mosin?
Imagine the accuracy that the new Mosins would have. I mean, when you buy it from, when you buy an old one, if you want to make it more accurate, you got to do the bedding of the barrel and everything. What if you could just buy one brand new that already had all that done to it, where all you had to do was
rifling in it?
Yeah. And you're going to tell me if they made it in .308 Winchester or 6.5 Creedmoor, it wouldn't sell like crazy? Come on.
Oh God, dude, people would buy them left and right. Look at this. People buy ARs that are chambered in .243. Why? I don't know, but they do, and they sell. People pay buku bucks for them. Yeah, I think a alternative chambering Mosin would sell like hotcakes.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's got a cat that needs attention.
He's meowing at his toy. When he plays with a toy, he'll start meowing at it. So.
All right, well, just turn around and tell him meow's not the time.
He's a cat. He has no cares.
All right. So, what else do we got on the agenda? All right. For those that didn't know, Bill Ruger Jr. Died the other day at 78. So,
damn.
I'm not gonna say a moment of silence for him, but I'm I'm going to say that I wish his family the best, and I hope that they can get over his death. They can start to heal, because losing a family member is never a good thing. It's always rough, and I'm not insensitive to that. So I hope they're able to recover. But again, this is Bill Ruger Jr., the one who the son that tried to turn Ruger around, not necessarily the father, which was kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Senior was an asshole.
Yeah, and Junior's the one, like we were talking before you went live, he's the one that was trying to fix the stuff that his dad did to the company. Started bringing back the 30-round mags for the Mini 14 and all that good stuff. So,
now is there a junior out there? Is there a third one that's out there now? Or what's in the family? Is it still going to be private owned, isn't it? Or family owned or whatnot? I mean,
okay,
the statement I saw was from the CEO, who's not a member of the family, so I don't know.
We got some newcomers to the chat. We've got Sarge. Say hello, Sarge.
I made it.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going?
Guess what I got in the mail last night?
What did you get in the mail?
Uh-oh. Ooh,
Got two.
nice.
Right.
Nice. I guess we're not going to have to haze him this evening, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I've been rocking it all day.
There you go.
All right, and then we got Gizzard Gary jumping in. What's going on, Gary?
Not a whole lot. I just got off work a few minutes ago. I had to work late tonight. So.
I'm sorry to hear that. Man. Good luck. Don't run over any stray. What was it? Prairie dogs.
God.
I'm trying not to.
I got one. I got one of my stickers waiting on the second one.
Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, there you go.
Nice.
All right. So again, I wish the Ruger family all the best, and I hope that they can start to heal. So it sucks that Bill Ruger Jr. died, but again, it's part of life. You live, you're born, you live your life, and then you leave.
Hey, Night Strike.
Yeah.
Is your beef with Senior just the whole him telling Congress what do people need more than 10 rounds for?
Yeah,
that's the
really
only thing.
Yeah, because my point is the Second Amendment doesn't say you can the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, but it's okay to have 10-round magazines. It doesn't say that.
No, I just want to know if that was it. Was there anything other than that?
More or less, that's really my only beef. Telling people what they should and shouldn't have, like we're some communist country. We're the United States of America. You don't tell us what we can and can't have. You tell us you ask us what we want, and we go out and get it.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but I have companies. I don't necessarily, even as the representative of my company, I'm not going to go say, oh, hey, you should go and get, you don't need this. You should just go and get just like the dinkiest, smallest thing you can get and be done with it. That's like telling people they can own a car, but they have to have a Yugo.
Your company's a pretty poor example, though. You're trying to steer people in the right direction as far as the computer needs. That's not a good example.
Okay, but you get my point, okay?
Oddly enough, I do get your point.
Somebody's got to.
Somebody's eventually going to figure out the point. No, I won't argue on it. But and that was my beef. You don't be a representative of a corporation or a company, a business, telling people what they should have. No. If you're a business, you're supposed to ask the people what they want, get those answers, and then try and release a product of which millions of people will want to buy.
Yeah, Glock, where's my carbine?
That's what your job as a businessman is. As a representative of a company, that's what your job is.
Did anybody watch the gun debate? And this comes into the manufacturing. I promise this makes sense.
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you watch any of that tonight?
No.
No.
Well,
who was involved in it?
And I was driving home, so I can't tell you the other guy's name, but there was a very, very left-wing lady on there that had her points, and then there was a very conservative gentleman. I'll have to get his name. He was spot on. He was a African-American fella. I didn't catch his name. He was spot on with his why he carries a gun, and he was very well educated and well versed, and that lady just had all her feel-good this never answered rarely answered questions, but one of them was the question was, should the firearms industry be as regulated as the auto industry? And that guy was just like, I don't even understand how to answer that. And
yeah, because they're more regulated than the auto industry.
And it just
that, and it's an apples to oranges comparison. It's not an apples to apples.
It was apples to anvils. It wasn't even close to being correct. So it made no sense. But and then when it was her time to talk, she talked about gun dealers, gun this, that, or the other. No, absolutely, you couldn't agree or disagree with what she was saying because there was no points being made. I mean, she touched on mental illness, and don't get me wrong, there was points to talk about that other stuff, but she would just throw it in with every question, and it was complete ramblings. But one of the things that she said when kind of sort of pinpointed as to how she was saying that the firearms industry should be regulated more because they have safety standards. They have to come in and they have to meet certain criteria for safety. And how many people are being killed by weapons that go off when they're dropped and stuff. And first of all, the percentage would have to be less than 0.1%, I'm sure, because we all know that probably 2/3 of all gun deaths are suicide. And then you have your domestic violence, which is a large portion, your gang violence, which is a large portion. Then you do have some that were a lot of justifiable homicides, and your straight up murders. There's a whole spectrum, but I am sure accidental discharge where a person wasn't the cause of it it's not even worth mentioning.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about the epidemic of that happening. But
the thing is about firearms is we seek the best. The ones that are unsafe, they have a very small market share, like some of the other ones, like your old Jennings and your old Ravens and things like that. They kind of went out because people wanted the better things. We seek the safer things, and that's how it gets. We're drawn to it. So by capitalism, us buying the right product, you giving us the product we want a safer product, we will go out and buy it. You don't have to regulate it. We're regulating it on our own. We want the nicer things. We want the safer things.
That capitalist society, that capitalist mentality is the same thing that lets us tell companies like Ruger, back when Bill Ruger didn't want to make more than 10 round magazines and said, no, who needs more than 10 rounds? Okay, I'm not going to buy your product anymore. Then there are people to this day who still won't buy Ruger because of that. But because we're a capitalist society, XYZ magazine company down the street from Ruger can go ahead and sell it with the 10 round mag. I'm going to market a 30 round mag that fits it. I'm going to pocket all the money. And that's capitalism. And that's one of the things that's great about our country is there is a way that we can influence things in our life without having to rely on the government to muck it up.
Yeah.
Well, the government can't run a business. They can't run these things. They can't do it. Just can't be done.
If you guys remember back during the Clinton assault weapon ban, that whole bunch of malarkey, you couldn't sell the firearm in more than 10 round mag, but you could go buy them aftermarket. Still.
No, you could. It just had to be made before a certain date.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the new ones. You couldn't go buy a new handgun with more than 10 round mag, but the store down the street had them because other people were making them.
And that's
you could buy a new handgun with more than 10 round mag if that mag inside that box was made before April of 1994.
Yeah, it had to be.
That's so crazy that this pen would be illegal if it was made during a certain time, even though nothing changed, just a production date. It's like that magazine.
I was going to the gun shows.
This one after it's legal, but this one in the middle, no, completely illegal because of when it's made. Nothing else.
And I was finding tons and tons of pre-ban stuff at the gun shows because it was the ban itself that made these guns popular. And by the time the ban was over, was by the time more companies were making these types of guns, and more people were interested. If they never had the '94 assault weapons ban, I don't even know that there would be as much AR-15 and AK nostalgia as there is today, or Glock, or whatever.
And again, the ban didn't even ban the magazines themselves, just selling that size magazine with the firearm itself.
Here's the funny thing. Now, some of the most popular rifles these days are the AR-15s and the AKs. It doesn't matter what caliber they're in. Just any caliber of those two variant rifles are extremely popular. Everybody wants one.
I saw one of these stats, and I can't verify it, but one of the stats I've seen floating around is that there's over 8 million AR-style rifles in the U.S. right now.
That would be an awfully conservative number. I would say.
Yeah, I have like 6
I would think that's probably actual, AR-15s. There's probably tons of variants.
That seemed pretty low on the spot. For anyone that doesn't know, Sarge has worn shirts about it on his own show, but Sarge is law enforcement. And Sarge, my question for you is, if the citizen is a legal citizen that can own firearms and hasn't committed any crimes, isn't barred in any way from owning a firearm. Okay, from the laws that are already on the books. Do you have a problem with them owning whatever they want?
I have zero problem with it.
Okay,
it's a non-issue.
So you're not afraid of some guy who can own firearms going out and buying a whole stockpile because he wants to start his collection?
No, not unless there's some other contributing factor.
Okay.
But just the average, and the majority of people are the average, everyday, law-abiding citizen. The vast majority of people are the law-abiding citizen.
And I want to throw this out there for future record, Night Strike. My degree program is also in criminal justice, and I completely agree with Sarge.
Okay. You've got a criminal justice degree. That's great. But
More than
Sarge is active law enforcement. So that's why I put him on the spot.
Yeah.
He likes to put me on the spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no issue. You know what happens when I get sent to because we get sent to discharging firearms calls all the time. Where people want to see if they're shooting in a safe direction. And hey, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've been where someone hasn't been shooting in a safe direction. Don't get me wrong, it does happen. But you know what we do? Most of the time it's because someone has moved here from another area where they didn't allow firearms, or they're scared, or if they heard a gun go off, it meant a crime was occurring. And I get it to a degree. I get it. But most of the time they're just trying to kind of necessarily just kind of poke at that person. If you're going to shoot your guns on the weekend, we don't like it, so we're going to call the police and they're going to come check on you. Maybe you'll get tired of it and you'll quit. No. If I go to a call and they're shooting in a safe direction, hey, where you guys shoot today? Oh man, that's pretty cool. We do some community oriented policing for just a little bit, and we let them know that we're the good guys and they're the good guys, and we go on our way because there's no issue. And I tell them, hey, I got to come out here. We have to respond to calls for service, whether they're founded or unfounded. We're going to come out here. We're going to talk. I'm going to verify you were shooting in a safe direction. Then I'm going to check out your guns, and man, I'm going to be on my way. Have a good day.
Yeah. I got a question for you, Sarge.
Okay.
What are the noise regulations as far as shooting ranges in North Carolina?
I can't speak for North Carolina. I can speak locally. You can shoot out in the county as long as it's in a safe direction, and it's up to every county and municipality to have their own noise ordinance. There's not like really a statewide noise ordinance. So typically it's as long as as long as it's reasonable. There's certain things that are excluded, like something for an economic purpose, like say you had a combine running or something of that nature that had to run all day Saturday because it was time to cut down the cornfield. They can't complain about that because you have a purpose for it. There are some quiet hours where you need to be particularly mindful of being, not having this stuff, not making a lot of noise, which is in our area, it's like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. is it's just, you need to be more mindful of it. But typically it really is 24 hours a day. If it's a continuous noise for the purpose of annoyance, that can be a violation. But like we've had people complain about shooting ranges before, and they say, well, every Saturday they go out there and shoot, and they're out there for hours. I'm like, but what's unreasonable about that? If they wait till Saturday,
I do have a reason for asking that, by the way.
Okay, I'm going to say, but if they're, but my argument was, they're shooting during the day. They're not shooting late at night. They're not shooting early in the morning. They're not shooting on Sunday. They go out there on a Saturday. There's nothing really unreasonable about that.
Yeah. The reason why I ask is because there was a local municipality in West Virginia, out in the western part of the state, where they got so many calls because people had shooting ranges that people were calling noise complaints. They actually went on the state level and made it now where noise complaints cannot be filed against shooting ranges.
And see, the state can do that.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's commercial or private. You cannot.
I'm sure that they had an hours of operation. I'm sure they had a little bit more criteria to satisfy both sides.
Yeah,
you'd have to, because if not, what's to stop them from going out there at 1 o'clock in the morning and aggravating everyone? That would be unreasonable.
Yeah, but how many noise complaints where they have been getting to where the state actually felt they had to step in and pass a law stating that you cannot file a noise complaint against a shooting range.
It's probably the people that contacted their representative and complained on both sides. I would think it would probably on both sides. And if something like that happened, you would have to not only say that, no, you can't file a complaint against the noise, but in turn for them not filing a complaint against the noise, you guys are only going to shoot from, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. There'd have to go both ways. So.
And you've got the flip side too. My family's got a farm out in Kentucky, and there's hills everywhere, and when you shoot, it echoes. And it's really quiet out there. Everybody's got guns and stuff, but not everybody goes shooting, even though you can shoot in your backyard all day long. Well, when I go down there to visit family, I'll bring the guns, and we'll go out in the backyard and be shooting. And in no time, off to the right, in the distance, you can hear somebody shooting. Off to the left, in the distance, you can hear something. Behind you, everybody's like, well, hell, I'll get out there and I'll do me some shooting too. They're not trying to make more noise than you. They're going, hey, that's a good idea. Let's get on out there and go do some shooting. So there are some places in this country where you can go and it's welcome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Sarge. You got people moving into the areas like, I'm going to move out to the country. And then it's like, oh, my goodness, they got guns out here. It's like, well, what did you
eat a lot of pieces.
I'm going to move to the mountains, and I'm going to drive my Mercedes G-Wagon.
There was so much shooting going on, and the way it echoed because of the hills and stuff, you couldn't tell who was shooting where. You just heard gunshots going off constantly at times. It was like crazy. But,
what we get here is a lot of people moving to the mountains in a $500,000 cabin, and they drive a G-Wagon.
Cabins, you gotta love that.
Yeah, they drive a Mercedes G-Wagon SUV, and you're not slumming it a bit. There's still we've still got people here that don't have indoor plumbing. I promise you, there are some left. So,
Rich, I have to ask, which county was it?
Morgan.
Morgan, okay.
Yeah, in Mineral County now.
My grandfather and his family were from Wayne County.
Yeah, the county that I'm trying to remember, it might have been Monongahela County where the people were complaining. That's out near Morgantown. If I remember right, that's where all the complaints for the noise complaints were coming from. And it was people, and you also had people that weren't, it wasn't just people from West Virginia that were complaining because you had Maryland right across the border, and some of them were probably complaining about it too. Wouldn't be the least bit surprised. Because you got the whole Cheat Lake area right there, and there's a big shooting range right there by Cheat Lake, it's right across the border from Maryland.
Yeah, the state range that I shoot at, they actually had to put baffles in each shooting station. They're more or less like a big suppressor you shoot through. And they had it all engineered and everything. The guy who did it volunteered his time and everything, because they were going to close down the range, because on the other side of the range is a lake, and on the other side of the lake isn't state land, it's private property, and there's a bunch of people, rich people, who have lakefront houses who don't want to hear the gunfire, and they donate the most money to the local politicians. So guess who can get the state range shut down? So they put these baffles in there, and it's a pain to shoot because it puts a shadow on your sight. You can't see. It's really restrictive, but they keep the range open. It's 10 minutes from my house. It's $4 to shoot all day. I put up with it because that was a compromise in order not to have to drive further or, whatnot. And it's a shame because as far as I know, that state park was there before those houses were. But, money talks and BS walks, right?
Yep.
All right. So the next topic, we have to talk about Mr. Dumbass. And Mr. Dumbass is that college professor that shot himself in protest of the Trump administration and got arrested for it. Apparently, he's now in jail on 15 counts of breaking the law.
He did this on a campus bathroom, by the way.
Yeah. And we're talking about him.
Didn't he tape a $100 bill to the mirror for cleaning up the mess?
Basically, he's now saying that he wants to ban AR-15s. I'm like, you're already a felon, and the picture that I'm getting from this article. I'm not going to read the article because I don't want to get give the guy any publicity by naming him. But just check this picture out. It's freaking hilarious. The picture is him right behind glass in jail. You see that? And he's saying he wants to ban AR-15s.
What did he shoot himself with?
A 22.
Yeah, it was a
He should have
handgun.
manned up and used an AR-15.
No. What I was saying, Sarge, what I said on
You put your
Rich's
money
show,
where your mouth is at that point.
Yeah,
What I
he
was
probably
saying-
wouldn't be behind the glass at that point because he'd be buried at this point. So.
what I said on Rich's show was the problem is he was aiming too low. So Travis,
Where did he
yeah.
shoot himself? Where did he
keep
shoot
going.
himself?
I gotta go take care of something real quick.
Okay.
Keep talking
Well,
about it. Right?
yeah, I don't know what kind of weight this guy thinks he's going to carry with wanting to ban AR-15s, or what point he was trying to make because he tried to shoot himself with a gun. I mean, it even says in the article that he has some serious mental issues. You know, who's going to trust this guy's opinion? You know, yeah. Who knew, right?
Yeah, we couldn't figure that out for ourselves.
Well, I was going to tell you guys real quick, just checking out over at Truth About Guns. They've got some pretty cool listings, a couple neat articles to check out, just some things for you guys to look at on your own. They do have the best 9mm carbines under $500, which is kind of slick. And then they also had one, we've had a lot of AR-15 chat, not to bring it back to Caliber Corner, but we've talked a lot about building ARs and AR-10s and AR-15s. And they've got a neat Guns for Beginners article that they wrote on choosing the right AR-15 upper. They say flat top versus carry handle, forged, cast, or billet. Maybe you guys here can fill me in on something here. Forged, cast, or billet, what do you guys think is superior? I mean, I honestly thought that forged was basically the standard that almost all AR uppers went by, but you guys have any experience with cast or billet at all?
I don't think when it comes to the upper, I don't know if it really matters so much between billet or forged. I'd be a little bit more leery about the cast.
Yeah, I didn't even realize they did cast uppers at all. I wouldn't think they'd even bother with it. I mean, I know some companies have polymer uppers that they've been making that metal reinforcements in them.
If you're going for a super accuracy type AR, forged might be a little better from what I've heard. But as far as your standard AR that you're just going to be, your standard sporting rifle, you know what I mean? I don't think between a billet and a forged you're going to see much difference other than price.
No, okay, the billet upper is the one that you can get, or the monolithic design where you've got the rail and the upper built into one, and like the handguards built into it. Have you ever seen those before? The real fancy machine ones? Yeah.
Yeah, well, they do that with forged too. I mean, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the way they make the aluminum, whether it's a forged block or a billet block.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah, man.
A family emergency.
It's all good. And then for you guys that are Mini 14, Mini 30 fans, they also had an article on Truth About Guns about it was 10 Ruger Mini 14, Mini 30 accessories that are actually worth the money. And with the drop in price of those things over at Walmart, I think they were selling them for $400 for a Mini 14. I can see a lot of guys in the gun channels crowd maybe picking one up from over the last couple of weeks,
right, just
because of the price. I mean, it's a good price for what they normally charge. I mean, me personally, I would just go the AR out, but I don't know if some markets that's all they can buy because they can't get an AR or what. But
yeah, some places, probably like California or something, it's probably easier to get a Mini 14.
Well, I know in a lot of places Walmart doesn't. They don't carry black guns anymore, but they carry the Mini 14s. So
yeah, like New York could probably be a Jersey too. Probably easier to get a Mini 14
compliant model. Yeah,
because it's wood.
Ah, yes. It doesn't do anything like an AR-15, does it?
Yeah.
No,
because it's wood.
No, it's wood. Yes. It makes it totally different. Hey, if that's all we got to tell them to sell them, then more power to those people, right?
You think that would work in the favor of the AR-15 because there are places that make wood furniture for ARs.
Yeah. Speaking of AR-15s, we're going to segue into our next topic.
Yay.
No, it's not a yay moment.
Oh no.
It's a moment of which I am actually very angry because
Uh-oh.
Technically,
No, never.
technically, the government of Vermont is technically stealing by people via legislation.
Wait, a politician that's stealing from the constituents? When does that ever happen?
Okay, well, if you didn't know, the bump stock ban went into law in Vermont, and you have, it goes into effect October 1st, and anyone that has a bump stock in the state of Vermont needs to turn them in, which, in my eyes, that's government theft. Even if the government's going to destroy them, the government is actually violating one of your constitutional rights by not reimbursing you for said property.
Yeah, you got to reimburse.
So Sarge, you agree with this, Sarge, too, from your perspective, in case local law enforcement is asked to enforce this ordinance? What do you think the law enforcement response is going to be?
How are you going to do it?
I don't know. You can't. Unless they go trace internet purchase records. I mean, that'd be the only way they could do it, and that would make people go bonkers.
Who's going to do that?
Yeah,
who has the manpower to put someone on that?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Well, apparently, the state of Vermont has the manpower.
Unless they catch people with them, or they catch people.
You can say turn them in all day long. You can say that, but what are they going to do when they don't?
Yeah, it's worked well for Massachusetts too, right? They had 16 people turn them in.
What are you going to do if they don't? Nothing.
That's why I dislike these bans on accessories, because, it's nice if you're a government official and you want to get rid of something, but if you're not reimbursing the civilian for what they initially paid for the device, what it costs, then you're stealing. I'm sorry, but hey, you're just legalizing stealing from the civilian.
I agree with you. And the other thing is, let's just go back to the root of this. How many crimes occurred using bump stocks?
Goose egg.
Any?
Goose egg.
Did they ever prove Vegas was?
No,
Yeah,
and they never
I don't think they ever said one way or the other. The only thing they said was he had them. Not
This
whether
is
he
just rhetoric. It's just to make people feel good. Okay, tell me what has been fixed. They've only created a problem for people, and for they wasted time legislating this. Then you're putting the people in a bind, and now they're taking their property without reimbursing, and then you're going to push it back that there will be eventually complaints that someone's shooting one of these illegal bump stocks, and people are going to have to go out and investigate it. That's the only time that would ever come into play, if somebody complained about it. Then you have no choice but to go see.
Yeah, the only way they're going to
violation. I mean, they can decide how they're going to handle it. Just creates a whole big problem over nothing. It's not fixing anything.
The only way they're going to find it is if somebody complains or somebody commits a crime with one. That's it.
But what's
along the same lines? Should they ban tall buildings?
Yeah, we need to ban tall buildings. We need to confiscate those.
You want to ban something? Ban cigarettes if you want to save people. I know some people in this room may not like that. I don't know who smokes.
Yeah, they've already tried that.
If you want to save someone, ban cigarettes. Just do that.
Yeah, they're trying to do that. They're to back paying taxes.
Stephen Dawkins.
Why are they entitled
to saying
to
it's called theft by taking? No, Stephen. Basically, they're making theft legal by banning it. Okay.
I'm just saying, if you want to save people, that's more dangerous than firearms. Way more dangerous than bump stocks.
And there is a constitutional amendment which says the government may not take anything from someone without compensating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you.
But apparently, because of certain elements of our government, they have been able to basically get a loophole with this via bans.
Yeah, and there's no due process either.
And there's no due process on it. So be careful.
You can't ban all crime. You can't do it. Crime's already illegal. Can't ban it.
Crime's already illegal. That's why it's called crime.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can't make it more illegal.
No.
It's now doubly illegal.
Super
double secret illegal.
Super double probation.
Oh, just got angry in here.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Double probation illegal. Yeah.
Double secret probation.
Probation illegal. Yep.
I may have to go ask one of my friends that may or may not be associated with a certain service. And that's all I can say.
Oh, like I said, show me where any of this made a difference, and then maybe we can have a good debate. Maybe I could get behind it. But if you have nothing on paper and can't show me one single death that it prevented, then this is all just a waste of time.
Right. And I'm going to tell any viewers we have out there that lives in the state of Vermont, don't vote for this asshole that's governor. Again, because he's not a Republican. He's proven by not reading the legislation that was put on his desk, by not vetoing it or saying he's not going to sign it, by signing it, he's proven that he doesn't give a shit about your constitutional rights.
Who has time to read those laws? Come on.
Obviously, none of the people in Congress.
Exactly.
But yes, obnoxious when we see your 1911.
You see the grips? Looks like
The
the
grips?
Second Amendment.
They're Night Strike approved.
Are they? What
But
did they
they're
say?
not orange.
Are they coated in blood?
Yeah.
They're not orange.
Oh, okay, never
Well,
mind.
you should have gotten rosewood grips.
Yeah, there you go. Has a blood type etched in it. Yeah.
And
Or
that
get yourself some,
1911 is
corn
not in
syrup
12 gauge.
Red food coloring and just like grips on it.
Oh, this one's a 40. This one's a 40. So
Nice.
I think you have a friend over there, obnoxious one.
yes, my nervous little dog.
Uh-oh, nervous dogs, watch out. But yeah, so it sucks that that's what's happening in Vermont, but it gets worse. And if anybody doesn't know why I'm so up in arms about this, I will be the first one to say out there, I own a bump stock. I use it. It's an interesting.
We're all well aware.
It's an interesting accessory. It's fun. It's not used for anything other than entertainment. It's a waste of ammunition. I know. But again, you know what? We live in the United States of America, where I've said already before, we should be able to own anything we want, not what we're told to. And when the government starts telling us what we can and can't have, that's when we need to step back, take a look at our government and say, well, maybe we don't want you to be in charge of our country anymore.
I can say the government is made up of nothing more than people, and majority of them elected. And this is when you get to tell that you're happy or not happy with them come November.
Exactly. Again, if you live in Vermont, vote that asshole out of office. Vote the Senate and the House out of office, because apparently they don't want to be your elected officials. They'd rather make decisions based off of feelings instead of making decisions based off of actual intelligence.
But it ain't going to happen, because remember who else is from Vermont?
Okay, just, Rich, don't try and bring us down. I'm doing that enough by covering these topics already. Shut up, Rich.
But seriously,
it's
these are the same morons that keep electing Bernie Sanders. I mean,
it's already depressing enough that I have to go over these topics, man. Don't make them worse.
But it's fun.
So when you drive into Vermont, there's a sign that says "Welcome to Vermont, the formerly gun-friendly state."
More or less now.
You got
right.
Bernie Sanders and Patrick Leahy coming out of Vermont. You know, I mean, it's only a matter of time.
All right, so the South loses another state. Florida. People, if you own a bump fire stock in Florida,
Florida's New York Junior.
Yeah, it's getting there. Well, if you live in Florida, if you own a bump fire stock in Florida, you have until September 31st to get rid of them or turn them in. Because
Until
apparently
when?
they're September 31st this month.
There's no September 31st.
Well,
I know.
because you don't have to get rid of them. You get rid of it on a date that doesn't exist, right?
Okay, now they said at effective October 1st, okay? So basically they banned bump stocks in the state of Florida. So, but it's not only limited to bump stocks. You cannot have bump stocks, crank fire devices, which is Gatling devices. You cannot have binary triggers, 3-gun triggers, lightweight bolt carrier groups, buffer springs, and different buffer
Go
weights.
back a second. What, by their definition, what is a 3-gun trigger?
I don't. Geisley, LaRue, and among others.
You have to define things like that. What's a lightweight?
That's a
bolt carrier
manufacturer.
group?
That's
Define what's standard weight, what's lightweight, what's heavyweight.
I'm
Did
not
they
done
really
yet.
go after buffers? And
Yes, I'm not done yet. The list goes on. Listen to this. You can't have adjustable gas blocks, registered lightning links, registered drop-in auto sears, or registered HK sears and trigger packs.
Jesus Christ, this is worse than Connecticut.
And registered FNC sears.
Does anybody know anything about Florida?
yeah, I know.
like Disney World's pretty cool, but that's about all I know about Florida.
Yeah.
Except for the
I like
coast.
Orlando. It's kind of fun to drive around.
Except for the coast where it touches water, that is the most redneck state out there. They
I don't
have
know.
all of that stuff and not even think twice about it.
Yeah, but apparently Miami and Orlando get to dictate policy for the entire state.
Now, Sarge is right. There are a lot more rural, wooded, parts of Florida. It's not all Disneyland and Miami Vice.
No, if it's
Disney
touching
World.
water or if it's around Miami, it is really built up and really, it's different. But everything else there is redneck city.
Can we just have a moment of silence for Squib? I think he's being eaten by robots.
Skynet.
The machinery is definitely chewing him up.
So we've got somebody who jumped in who hasn't been on Hit or Miss before. We've got Mike from Munition Weapons Tactical. What's going on, Mike?
Not too much. I was trying to stay low key because I just got finished doing Goat Show. But how's everyone doing tonight?
We're doing good. We're doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's just the fact that I'm just moving a little slow and tired because I'm getting ready for a jiu-jitsu competition next month. So I got to put in the work now to be prepared for that one.
All right. I hear you. But pretty much, apparently, from what they're saying is, if any person is found with said devices in the state of Florida, you are fined. You are fined $1,000 and I think arrested or both.
Yeah, and Vanessa says Connecticut's law is far worse than Florida. Yeah, I know. I was being facetious.
But I don't know what to say to that. I don't like covering some of this stuff, but unfortunately, we have to get some information out there. So again, don't vote for Rick Scott if you live in Florida, and don't vote for the current Republicans in the Florida government because apparently they're not your party.
And this goes back to what I've told you now. When it comes to the general election, you do what you got to do. But when your primaries come up, stop voting for the incumbents until they get their shit together.
Yeah. So again, we'll see what happens in some of the other states. I'm going to have to check where we're at with South Carolina because if Florida's going, South Carolina sometimes isn't far behind. So they banned bump stocks in Columbia, so you can't have bump stock in Columbia. But
You can always move up here.
I don't know if they've done that for the entire state.
Yeah, somebody proposed a bump stock ban on the House floor in the West Virginia legislature, and everybody, including the Democrats, went off on them. I was waiting for it to be a good old-fashioned lynching.
It's sad that we have to cover these topics. If we don't, these politicians are going to get away with this, and they're going to get away with everything but murder.
Oh, they get away with that too. Look at Hillary.
I didn't want to talk about her, but thank you.
Suicide is what it is.
Ted Kennedy.
He was suicided.
No. It was a gang-related
No, that was just one of
They
them.
had a-
That was
they had a
one of them.
rash of
Another one
those,
was
didn't they?
suicided.
Yeah, but yeah, she well, let's put it this way: Hillary's got a hit list.
Robberies
that's
with no
on one
wallets
side.
taken, no cash taken, no credit cards, no nothing, no wallet, no everything was still being there. Robberies.
Yeah,
What about
muggings.
his shoes? We never found out about his shoes.
The one
Maybe
that
maybe he was
drug
wearing some
deal
Air
bad,
Jordan
the guy had no
Repros and
cash on him, or
New Iversons,
and none of his stuff looked like it had been gone through, but yet he had no drugs or money on him, but it was a drug deal. So, yeah, that stuff's not funny looking at all. Nothing to see here.
So, all right. Has anybody got a topic they'd like to talk about this evening?
You want to talk about Kavanaugh
Uh,
and the accusations? Yankee had a pretty good video on it today. He
I
made some
wasn't
good
Except
points.
for one thing about
you
that.
should have watched my show, or even accepted my invite Sunday night, Travis, because I actually discussed
Dude,
that.
what time was it? Because I go to bed about 9:30 on Sundays, 9:00.
It was 8 Eastern, dude. It would have been 9 o'clock.
7? I don't know what I was
It would
doing.
have been 7. Yeah,
was
that would
I
have been
doing?
7 your time.
Okay, I don't know.
Central.
All right.
Yeah,
When I
but,
missed
go
Madison
back and
by
watch,
'cause I was
go back
working
and
on
watch
the
the
yard.
Can we just
replay.
talk about Yankees
All right.
video about Kavanaugh?
Yeah, he made one
about
about the accusation.
I watched it.
I haven't watched it. Don't spoil it for me.
I didn't watch the
It's good except for the fact that he knows that he did it because everything checked out. What checked out?
What
Nothing
checked
checked out. You got
Well,
one person.
Gal had a
taking
recorded
wild
history about
accusation, and
the
everybody
trauma
else
suffered
that
from the
talks
event.
about it says it didn't happen. So what checks out exactly?
Exactly.
Well, repressed memories are notoriously bad.
Yeah, and then
Number
let's
one.
let's look at the history of this accuser.
Do you know that when you remember something, you're not actually remembering the incident. You're remembering the last time you remembered it. That's why memories fade.
Yeah, they've actually talked to people who said that they don't even remember Kavanaugh being at the party where this supposedly even happened to begin with.
Mm.
And a lot of this stuff, I don't know.
Now, if he'd had, 3 or 4 others come out of the woodwork after this, like everybody else has, then I would say there's probably something to it. But he's had,
And this
he's had
accuser,
dozens of women come out and say, no way in hell.
yeah,
after
65 women signed a letter that saying that this is not something he would have done. These are actual women that knew him when he was in high school who came out and said, no, this is totally against his character.
And the Democrats are now saying that if it's a he said, she said, then the tie goes to the victim. Well, I'm here. I'm going to get this off my chest. But I was molested by Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein. I don't
going down that route.
I don't remember when.
okay.
I don't remember where I was.
Did you see
but
the statement?
I
Did
was
you see
molested
the
by
statement from
Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein.
Okay.
Have you
I
seen
just
the
want
statement
I
from the
want to delve
accuser's
further
lawyer?
into this. Show us on this doll where they touched you.
In my naughty bit. I touched my naughty
Yeah,
bit.
Sarge ought to get a kick out of this one. Did you see the statement from the accuser's lawyer today?
No.
It's not on the accuser to prove her case.
I'm sorry,
That's-
but in a court,
there is
yes,
no
it
case.
is.
Exactly what the Democrats have started saying. So, like I said, I was
There's no
molested by
He flat out
I was
came out
molested by Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein.
that the honest
I don't have to
prove what happened is not on her client.
Me too.
Really? Because your client's the
No,
only
it's-
one that's saying
It's
this
not
ever
on the
happened.
client, it's on the prosecutor in that area, and it sounds to me like there's not a case. There hasn't been a case for 40 years now.
I lived in
This
California.
supposedly happened
So I'm
35
gonna
years
say-
ago.
Dianne Feinstein molested me as a child.
And here's another: if it actually happened, why in God's name is she making all these accusations out in California when it supposedly happened in Maryland? And why is Dianne Feinstein turning this letter over to the FBI, who doesn't even have jurisdiction, and not the Bethesda Police Department, which is a suburb, in case anybody doesn't know, of Washington, D.C., where Dianne Feinstein lives most of the year?
Yeah, this is a
This is
crime
the delay tactic, so they can
that
get
may
Kavanaugh
or may not have occurred 35 years ago. It doesn't matter what this person does now. That's not relevant. It has to be
and that's-
investigated there where it took place.
Yeah, and then going into the 35 years of nonsense again, Dianne Feinstein wants this investigated by law enforcement, except there's one little problem there, Miss Feinstein. There's a thing called statute of limitations.
See, I was wondering about that. If there was one on this event, like what it would be.
It depends on this on that state. I don't know about a crime like that. If it did, in fact, if it was.
At the time period when this would have happened, there was a statute of limitations, I believe, of 10 years in Maryland on that particular charge that they would be charging him with. Which, remember, when a crime happens, that's the statute of limitations you go by, not the one that would come about later.
And this is why they're trying to try it in the court of public opinion.
That's exactly why. They're trying to judge Roy Moore, the guy.
They're trying.
They had that accuser come out, and then she went on national television and said that she lied, and it still cost more the election.
It does not matter. They're going to find something, or at least someone to say something happened 35 years ago, 40 years ago.
And this woman is a party hack. If you look at this woman's history, she is a Democrat Party hack through and through.
She may have never lived in Maryland in the first place, and her
no, she went to high school in Maryland. She's from Maryland. They found somebody who was a party hack from Maryland around that same age group, and offer them enough money, and they'll say whatever you want them to say.
Yeah. So, quite honestly, I don't even think she even had a class with him or even knew him. I think she's just saying this just because one of the party members
Did you see her original statement that she was taken up to the bathroom and thrown onto a bed in the bathroom?
Whoa!
She literally said that she was thrown onto a bed in the bathroom.
That's a freaky large bathroom, dude.
I've never seen a bathroom that had a bed.
No, I've never.
I have.
Maybe like a one room.
You get those
Well, maybe West Virginia you have that.
No,
not here.
No, it's like a honeymoon suite. They'll have everything will be open. You'll have the bed, the bathtub, and all that right there in the same one room. But I've never seen it in a house, which is where this was supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I've never either. So
I mean, how lazy do you got to be where you have your bed next to the toilet?
That would be really nice. Well, actually, ours is. I mean, it's a separate bathroom, but it's 5 feet away from the bed.
Yeah, but apparently you wouldn't have a wall to go through to get to the toilet.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't think my wife wants to see me popping a squat in front of her. So. No, probably not.
Yeah. No, Travis does not want to give us the play-by-play. So
can I get some Febreze in here? Yeah. No. Oh God.
So let's see. There's nothing else. Does anybody else have a topic? Mike, you wanted to talk about that one cop in Texas that shot a guy in his own apartment?
Yeah, it was just a topic that I had a conversation with earlier. I really wasn't following it, but I was on Twitter and trying to find some news sources, and there's just a lot of back and forth in regards to the female going into this guy's apartment and shooting him, but yet it's like a cover up. Well, honestly, I don't know because, like I said, I didn't thoroughly research everything. But then again,
this is the girl that got off work after working 12 hours.
Yeah.
And shot the guy in his own apartment.
Yeah.
This whole thing is ridiculous. And there's just no excuse for it. And you can't try to make an excuse. Okay, she was tired after working 12 hours. I work 12 hours. If I get off in 12 hours, I am happy. I am absolutely ecstatic.
I just worked 13.
Yeah. That's no excuse. Okay, I drove through a red light because I just worked 12 hours and killed a family. That's not an excuse.
No.
Not
Sarge,
at all.
you're law enforcement, so sometimes you have to do overtime.
Yeah.
So
you think?
Yeah.
I'm not
saying that to be sarcastic, Sarge. I'm being realistic here. You have to work overtime sometimes because of situations. And if she's going to say that she was too tired or she couldn't do this, she's just trying to get an out so she doesn't go to jail.
Exactly.
She screwed up and she doesn't want to own up to her own mistakes.
You have to let the evidence take you where it takes you and present it and just see how it works out. You can't manipulate everything, and that's what they're trying to do. I heard, I was watching some people got upset because they served their search warrant on the apartment. You have to. A crime occurred. You have to do that. That's fine. But to make it an issue that this guy had what did he have, like 10 grams of marijuana? I mean, so what?
So what? He broke into his house.
He did nothing to contribute to his own death. It's not relevant. It's not even newsworthy. What's newsworthy is this person went into the wrong apartment, completely and totally panicked. Did they not look around and realize the furnishings weren't the same? I mean, was there not something that tipped them off? Why?
I think it's a total cover up overall. But at the same time, I do believe that they were romantically involved. And
that's always a possibility.
Yeah, and then that's what the breakup was taking place, and that's why she went to his apartment. You know, that's what I concluded.
I thought she was a next door neighbor.
She lived under him or something like.
Yeah, Clay's out there. Yeah, Clay out there on the YouTube side saying that he feels like it's because the neighbor was making too much noise, so she shot him.
Because what I read was her apartment's on the 3rd floor, his is on the 4th floor. You know, and the neighbors heard her banging on the door, screaming, "Open up, let me in." You know, but it was something else about even when she put the key in the door, the key didn't work. So
he changed the key on her.
So that's why I was like, okay, this right here is nothing more than it was a love infraction in there. Like he laid it down.
And what do I always talk about these homicides?
Domestic disturbance.
Majority are domestic.
Yep.
They're always, a lot of them are domestic.
Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier.
And that would make more sense than I just went into the wrong apartment. Oh my gosh.
You went into the wrong apartment on the wrong floor.
I went into the wrong apartment, my ass. I'm sorry.
Now don't get it wrong, because like by me being ex-military, there were times when I staggered into the barracks in my earlier years, going to the wrong room, realizing my key didn't work, to just sleeping in the lobby, you know, until I woke up.
Go to the wrong floor and go to the wrong room.
I was in the wrong building one time.
Yeah, but why did you stagger in there?
Yeah, but I didn't actually make entryway into the door either.
Yes,
exactly.
You weren't trying to break the door down and shoot the person on the other side.
I was trying to get to bed.
You always count the number of buildings between the barracks and the E Club while you're sober, so you know how many to count on the way back.
That's
if you remember how to count.
Very solid advice.
Yeah, but on a serious note, though, I do believe that everything I heard, I haven't yet to hear anybody say anything about them dating or being romantically involved with each other. Obviously, there is a cover up, especially when they were saying the Rangers were supposed to be handling it, but she went to the next county and turned herself in, and they let her out an hour or so later, or something like that. Then they charged her with manslaughter instead of murder.
Well, but murder, there has to be. I mean, there has to be an intent. They would have to have been involved. If this just made a mistake, that would be manslaughter. So I mean, we don't know what they've come up with. We're only guessing.
Right. Even manslaughter, she's still going to have to go to prison.
Yeah, manslaughter is still looking at like
not always. Potentially
up to 15 years for manslaughter.
Potentially.
Depending on the state.
Yeah, depending on the state. I'll give you that.
There's plenty of people that don't go for things like that.
Yeah.
Which
on both sides.
Anyways, but yeah, all right. Does anybody else want to want to comment on this?
When did they charge her?
It's like 3 days after the incident. That's what.
I guess that's about enough time. It's really. Sometimes they rush into these things. There's no reason to rush.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's not a menace to society as long as you don't live next to her. I mean,
above her, not next to her.
You know,
as long as you're not living upstairs,
you know, do the investigation properly. Don't rush it. Don't delay it either. Do it correctly.
There's a simple solution to this case. Just have the judge adjudicate that she has to live on the top floor from now on.
She has to have a house.
There you go.
She has to have a house, not an apartment building. She's banned from living in apartment buildings.
And she's not allowed to have any neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah. Her neighbors' houses have to be 20 feet on either side.
Yes, that problem solved. But it would be interesting to see what the backstory is, whether they were involved or whether she just completely went to the wrong floor or whatnot. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to find out.
Okay. All right. So, with that, final comments. All right.
We covered everything on the list, didn't we? That we discussed
we covered-
before we started.
Did we have a list?
We covered everything on the list that I came up with 5 minutes before the chat.
Yeah.
We had some added stuff, but overall, we had an interesting discussion. So, I guess we're going to start winding it down. I'm going to let everybody make their plugs for their channel, whatever they're doing. So, Gizzard Gary, you're up first.
Yay! Well, I'm at gizzardgary.com. Check out my YouTube channel. There's a 357 subscriber giveaway going on. There's still time to enter. Check it out. Also, check out gunchannels.com. Great place to belong to. Also, guntube.org. Place you really need to check out. And as always, like, share, and subscribe to Night Strike. Thank you for your invite, sir.
No problem. Anytime. Mike, go ahead and plug your channel and with the things you're doing, dude.
Oh yeah, thank you for the invite. Sorry I was late. Like I said, I was doing another show. But for anyone who's interested, you can check me out weekly on the Black Man with the Gun podcast, hosted by Ken Blanchard, and listen to us talk about various topics revolved around the 2A community. He also has an app called under the same name, Black Man with the Gun. But go check it out and give me your insight and tell me what you think about it. Every Tuesday, I put out a video, and you can go check out this video on guntube.org under M-W Tactical. And this week, we're talking about a campaign that we started to give back to the community. But we would like everybody to go watch it and give your insight and help out if you can. Tell us what you honestly think about it. And if you haven't done so, or if you haven't heard of me, please go to Facebook or Instagram and look up M-W Tactical and join in on the adventures that I'm doing every day revolved around the 2A community.
Awesome. All right. Obnoxious one. Go ahead and show off your 1911 again real quick.
Yes, sir.
I know it's right next to you on the desk.
Yeah, it is. Turn on the camera, take the tape off of it. There it is. It is.
All right.
My Dan Wesson 1911 that I got talked into buying when I went looking for the SIG We the People 1911. So, this damn gun shop guys. But I got a video coming out about the putting the grips on here and why they're on this gun instead of my SIG, which is what they were planned for. I've got my 200. See, I keep trying to do that 2,000 subs. I'm not there yet.
Oh, I'm not even there.
I've got my 200 sub giveaway that I am still 46 people away from. That means all of you out there in the chat, get over there.
Yep.
Get there, people, and subscribe to the Human.
Leave a comment on that 200 sub giveaway video. That's your entry into it. I've got a holster review that I did for this gun. Went out today. I've got another one in the pipe for a different holster, different gun. And I did have a knife review and the grips on this that are filmed and need to be edited. So this will probably come out Friday.
Awesome.
But you can find me on YouTube, of course, and HugeTube, Gunstreamer, guntube.org, which is the best of the tubes, by the way, and Instagram and Facebook, all under Obnoxious One.
All right. Thank you. Rich.
Yeah, well, I guess it's my turn, isn't it? Well,
Yes, it is.
got the Unloaded Media thing going on Sunday nights, 8 Eastern, so check that out. Instagram, got Unloaded Media _Rich White, so you can check that out too. And just to throw this out there, anybody has any complaints about anything you see on gun channels or any related channels, send us up with use stamped antelope to shootingleftoffcenter@gmail.com.
Sarge, you're up.
All right, I'm gonna put a link up. Make sure you enter the 1,000 sub giveaway. Make sure that you show the rest of the panel some love. If you like their stuff, check them out. If you like it, subscribe. I appreciate the invite. I appreciate the link. Sorry I was late getting here. I had a bunch of family stuff and life I had to take care of before I got to do this. So finally got done working off after working all weekend. So enjoying a couple days, and I guess that's about it.
But you guys are all on the hit or miss mailing list, and if you can make it, great. If you can't, then don't worry about it. It's
the usual suspects.
Yeah, usual suspects. So check out Sarge. Check out what he's doing. Do it. All right, Squib, you got anything you want to
plug? Thanks for the link, and thanks for letting me weasel onto your show. Should be weaseling on the Rick Show tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and weaseling onto other shows all throughout the week.
All right. And Travis.
Yeah, man. Hey,
unofficial co-host.
Yeah, no, it's just good time. Good time. Covered a lot of good information before. Yeah, guys, definitely get out there and sub to everybody that's on this panel that's got a channel. Show them some support. Guntube.org. Get over there, sign up, get your videos posted over there. Gunchannels.com, of course. As for me, you can check out my channel, Travis B11, on YouTube, Gunstreamer, Guntube.org. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All the links are in my videos. Otherwise, check out Caliber Corner, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. We've been having some really fun discussions. They're all viewer-suggested topics. We've had a lot of fun the last couple weeks, and going to keep it rolling. So we'll be doing our annual, I'm going to call it annual now, fall deer chat on Saturday, deer hunting discussion. So please be there, and feel free to post questions during the chat if you want us to answer anything, and it's going to be a good time. So thank you.
No problem. No problem. Again, everyone, thank you all for joining in with us, giving us your perspective. Thank you all out there on the chat and on the Gun Channel side for bearing with us and following along. With that, remember to check out guntube.org. And, yeah, we'll see you next week. Oh, wait, no. Sarge got a GunTube shirt. Thank you, Sarge.
Sell out. Sarge is
Yes.
sell out.
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. Sarge got a GunTube shirt. So again, go to the GunTube, and I don't know if I have the link up right now. If it's not, I'll put it up. But GunTube has a Spreadshirt store. I think it's guntube.spreadshirt.com.
You say store?
Store. Yes.
Store. He's got a store.
What's with these links not being up to the fall off the web page or something? You have to
Every time I have to update software, the side links that I had over there end up disappearing. So I'm going to have to set up a thing where the custom links actually show up.
When you go to take the website down, that's when they make the break for it.
Just do that after you make my iOS app, so I can go on my iPhone.
That's gonna be when Night Strike gets funding for GunTube, because right now Night Strike is putting all of his money into GunTube, and he's destitute. So there you go. There's that. All right, guys. Again, go to guntube.org. Check it out. Upload a video or two. Have fun with it. We'll see you next week. So thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Give him the bird.
It was.
Slim Jim is not candy.
Adios, Felicia.
Shut up, you infringed.
Felicia, te amo.
Give them the bird.
There you go. Had to get that out there.
It's not candy.
Do you love Felicia?
I don't know, does he?
Slim Jim is not candy.
We should have given 5 minutes of Skirtle.